It started on a quiet Saturday morning when I noticed a bright blue porta-potty had been dumped directly on my lot. Not just anywhere. It was right in the middle of my freshly cleared meadow, blocking access to my small workshop and ruining the view I had spent months landscaping. Naturally, I called the HOA, assuming they would handle it. That's when the absurdity of the situation became clear. HOA Karen herself had delivered it. She claimed she needed it for her backyard party, and that placing it on my property was a minor oversight. I stared at the porta-potty, then back at my property line, and slowly realized something. This was the perfect opportunity to make a point. I could have called the police, filed reports, or demanded fines, but instead I decided on a more creative approach. I spent the rest of the morning preparing my tools: a trailer, a heavy-duty tow strap, and a small tractor. By mid-afternoon, I was ready. With careful precision, I hooked the porta-potty to my tractor and began towing it. Not down the street, not to some neutral location, but directly onto HOA Karen's manicured front lawn. She was hosting her weekly brunch at the time, a gathering of HOA members she often used to flaunt her authority. The sound of metal scraping on asphalt alerted her first. She rushed outside, waving her arms, eyes wide with horror. "What are you doing? That's my porta-potty," she screamed. I calmly adjusted the strap, ensuring it would sit perfectly in the center of her flower bed. "I thought it looked lonely on my lot," I said cheerfully. "Figured it would enjoy a change of scenery." By now, her friends and neighbors had gathered, watching the spectacle unfold. Cameras came out, whispers spread, and her face turned redder than a fire truck. She tried to storm over and stop me, but I was already finishing the final adjustments, making sure the porta-potty was centered like a monument on her lawn. After a brief pause, she yelled, "I'm calling the police." "Please do," I replied, stepping back to admire my handiwork. "They'll see exactly what happened. You dropped it on my property. I simply moved it back to its rightful place, yours." When the police arrived, the scene was already chaotic. Karen ranted about her rights and outrageous property theft, while I calmly handed over my documentation proving my land ownership and the placement of the porta-potty on my lot. The officers, after some quiet chuckles, explained that the proper protocol would have been for her to remove it herself or obtain permission before placing it on private property. Realizing the absurdity of her position, HOA Karen had no choice but to accept it. She spent the rest of the afternoon watching her prized porta-potty, now immobile and slightly leaning in the center of her flower bed. It became the talk of the neighborhood for weeks, a constant reminder that property boundaries are not suggestions, and that underestimating someone's patience or creativity can lead to public humiliation. From that day forward, no one ever dared to place anything on my property without my consent. The porta-potty remained on her lawn until she finally paid a removal service to relocate it, at her own expense. And I spent the rest of the weekend enjoying my newly peaceful meadow, knowing that in this particular battle of HOA versus homeowner, creativity and patience had won the day.